What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. It's that time of the year again. The NHL playoffs have rolled around. They start on Wednesday, April 10th, which is a day from now as I'm filming this, and we have done it once again. Yes, like we do every year, like we did at the start of the season, like we did last year in the playoffs. We've jumped into NHL 19 and spent an entire day simulating the playoffs 100 times. Now, you guys know me, you know that I like to do things a little bit differently here, so that's one of the reasons. Plus, I've created a bracket challenge once again for the third year in a row that you guys can enter, and I don't really want to win this bracket challenge because it's my own. I don't want to win prizes. Those are for you guys for showing your support over these years, so you guys can join up. That link is in the description, and I will be entering the bracket that NHL 19 has decided after 100 simulations. Now, the prizes for the bracket challenge come from a few companies that I've worked with in the past and whose products that you know very well if you've watched my videos. So the third prize is a hockey stick from the Hockey Arsenal. It's the Covet. Now, I reviewed this one. It's a pretty good stick for intermediate level hockey, for beer league, for pond hockey, stuff like that. It's not a high level stick, but it does the job really well, and I've liked using it. Now, second place is a $200 gift card courtesy of CoolHockey.com, which is where I got that beautiful Alexander Ovechkin jersey last year after he won the cup. I'm planning on doing it again this year for whoever wins the cup this year. But yeah, second place can pick up a free custom jersey courtesy of CoolHockey.com. And last but not least, the first place prize will win, yes, the bent hockey stick from Elevate Hockey. This one retails for around $300 US. I currently use the bent stick as my main stick in all my beer league games and all my challenges. If you haven't seen those, go to my channel and go through my recent videos. But today we are going through the 100 simulations and the results. I'll show you the bracket that I'm submitting into my bracket challenge, and then you guys can join up with the link in the description and see if you can beat me and win some of those awesome prizes. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so here we are in NHL.com in the bracket challenge where we are going to fill out our bracket right now using the results from all the 100 simulations. Now, once again, to dispel all those haters who might think that I actually haven't gone through this, yes, well, I have. From Sim 1 all the way to Sim 100 with all the detailed stats, the results of every series in terms of games, all of it has been tracked by hand after simulating through NHL 19. But I won't bore you with all those little details. I broke it down, summarized the values in these charts, and now I'm going to fill out the bracket for you guys. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. All right, so first series, starting from the top left, we're going Calgary versus Colorado. Now, Calgary won the West, and now they're playing Colorado, who squeaked in the very last second. They were hot to start the season, but they cooled off, and now they're facing the Red Hot Flames, who have a great team all around. But after 100 simulations, NHL 19 sees this series as basically a coin flip, with Colorado, the underdog, actually taking it by a measly 51% to 49% against Calgary. Now, it seems like on the extremes of the 7-game series, if it's a sweep or if it goes 7 games, looks like Calgary's got a lock on that, but if it goes 5 or 6, it looks like Colorado has the edge. But from what we can see here, it looks like the most likely scenario is Colorado in 6 games over the Flames. So let's pop Colorado into the second round over Calgary, and we're moving on to the other matchup in the Pacific Division, San Jose versus Vegas. Now, once again, this is not the last time. It'll be basically a coin flip. They have San Jose just edging out Vegas with a 51% win ratio. This series, again, was dead even overall. Nothing really separating the two teams. And on any given day, in any given simulation, one team could win versus the other. So, I mean, I kind of see that happening in real life as well. But across 100 simulations, NHL 19 has the San Jose Sharks edging out the Vegas Golden Knights in 7 games. So we'll advance the Sharks here, and that settles the Pacific Division Finals, Colorado versus San Jose in the second round. Now, moving on to the Central Division, the matchup here is the Predators versus Dallas Stars. Now, this one was a little bit more decisive, with Nashville winning 56% of the time over Dallas, but it still wasn't a blowout by any means. Looking at the breakdown of this series across 100 sims, it seems like the longer this series goes, the more it favors Dallas. So this series really could go either way. With those new acquisitions up front with Wayne Simmons, Mikael Granlund, the existing forward core from last year's that did so well, their awesome defense, and Pekka Rinne in net, you can't really go against Nashville, and NHL 19 definitely agrees with that. They have them going over the Stars in 6 games. So we'll move the Preds on over the Stars, and last but not least, we have the Winnipeg Jets versus the St. Louis Blues in the West. This is another coin flip series, and I can see it again happening in real life. St. Louis, one of the hottest teams in the new year, if not the hottest. Winnipeg has had some struggles. Laine hasn't been scoring as much as he should, and they've had some injuries on the back end as well. So Winnipeg's kind of got to figure that out, but NHL 19 says they will battle through that adversity and come out on top over the Blues, winning barely by the skin of their teeth 51% of the time. Looks like if the Blues can keep this series short and sweet, win it in 4, 5, even 6 games, looks like they have a better shot. But if it gets pushed to that 7th game, more often than not, Winnipeg is going to take it, and that's what NHL 19 says, Winnipeg in 7. So there you go, we have our first round predictions all set for the Western Conference. Now let's move on to the East. Now up top, you got Tampa Bay versus Columbus. Tampa Bay setting records, breaking records all over the place this year. They had an unreal season, and they should be locks in anybody's bracket, except for Columbus fans. I'm looking at you, Nasher, to take this series handily over the Blue Jackets. They just squeaked in, but you never know. It's the playoffs. Anything can happen. Let's see what NHL 19 had to say. This one, again, was decisive, but not a blowout by any means. They have the Lightning beating the Jackets 57% of the time. And again, kind of a similar story to the Jets-Blues series. The longer the series goes on, looks like the more heart Columbus has, the more confidence they can build in themselves to take that Game 7 win more often than not. But it seems like for the most part, this series will end in 6 games, the victory going into the Tampa Bay Lightning. So let's move them on and move into what I think, and it's kind of biased because I am from Toronto, but this looks like the marquee matchup, the big rivalry series in the entire playoffs, potentially, Boston versus Toronto. I mean, now this one kind of surprises me. Obviously, history favors the Bruins, but I don't know, the Leafs, there's just something about them, and NHL 19, I don't know if it's the sim engine or whatnot, they valued the high-scoring, high-flying Leafs versus the kind of the old but experienced Boston Bruins. So in NHL 19, it has the Leafs beating the Bruins 54% of the time, so not exactly a coin flip, but not truly decisive either. It looks like for the most part, it's going to be dead even if it goes 6 or 7 games, right down to the wire. It's anybody's series. But NHL actually has the Leafs taking this series in 5 games more often than not, which is very surprising. I don't think that'll happen in real life. If it does, great. But you know what? I don't see that happening. But this is the way we have to work with our bracket. So we'll pop it in. Toronto in 5. All right, moving on to the Metropolitan Division, we have Washington versus Carolina. Carolina, first time seeing the playoffs in a while, and the simulation didn't really give the Hurricanes much of a chance here. It's 65% of the time Washington wins this series, and more often than not, they do it in 6 games, even 5 games and 7 games. Looks like if Carolina wants a shot at beating Washington, they can't even let them win a game. The most success they had against the Caps comes in 4 games. Washington has a pretty similar team to the one that won the Cup last year, so I don't see them struggling too much against the young Hurricanes here. So NHL 19 has Washington Capitals winning this first round series against the Hurricanes in 6 games. All right, so Washington's up there, and now we get to the last series of the first round, and this one surprisingly was the most decisive. Even though the Islanders won the Metropolitan Division, EA Sports didn't really see them making it past the heavily experienced Pittsburgh Penguins. This was the most decisive series of the entire simulation, with Pittsburgh coming out on top 70% of the time. Doesn't seem like the Islanders really stood a chance here. Pittsburgh completely dominated them regardless of the series length. But again, consistent with most of these matchups, NHL sees this series going 6 games. So we'll move the Penguins against their rival Washington Capitals in the second round to set up another awesome rivalry there. And most of my analysis comes from those first round matchups, so you won't have any charts or anything because sometimes these matchups didn't happen in the second round. So what I'm going to do is just go based on the probabilities from the simulations and work out who comes out on top and eventually wins the cup. So in the second round matchup between Colorado and San Jose, the sim has the San Jose Sharks coming out on top. With Carlson back in the lineup, Brent Burns, big names like Joe Thornton, Joe Pavelski, they really want to go far this year. Colorado has a lot of time, and they might even get a first overall pick, depending on how the draft lottery goes. So I'm sure they'd be happy with at least one series win this year. San Jose is hungry, and they're into the conference finals. On the other side, you have Nashville versus Winnipeg, and Nashville looks like they're going to take a step back this year. Winnipeg, and NHL 19 just thinks Winnipeg's too strong this year, so they have them going past and into the conference finals against the Sharks. Now, this matchup is very interesting, and it's kind of tough to pick apart who should actually go through, because in some instances should be the Lightning, but based on other metrics should be Toronto. So I'll show you guys a little bit of the back end behind all of the results here, and we'll go down to Toronto and Tampa Bay. So Toronto actually was the team who won the most cups overall. They won 13 cups. But the caveat to that is that when you come here to the probability of a team winning the second round, if you compare Tampa Bay's 31 to Toronto's 30%, you kind of got to give it to Tampa Bay. In my heart, I wanted to give Toronto the edge, but realistically, I don't see Tampa Bay doing any worse than the conference finals, so we got to move them through. And in the bottom, we have the Caps versus the Pens once again in the second round. I'm kind of sick of this matchup, to be honest. I mean, Ovi versus Crosby is nice, but you want to see some new teams in there, so I would have liked to see either Islanders or Carolina make it, but this is what the sim says. Washington, they have coming out on top over Pittsburgh. Washington was actually a team that won the second most cups. They had 12 behind Toronto's 13. That means they are going to match up against the Lightning in the conference finals. So here you have it, the conference finals, the final four: Sharks versus Jets, Lightning versus Capitals. Three very high scoring teams, some of the best scorers in the league. And in the West, you have the Sharks versus the Jets. Two very hungry teams. Jets are a little bit younger, Sharks a little bit older. You know, you love to see Joe Thornton coming through, but NHL just has Winnipeg coming through for some reason. I can't really put my finger on it, but maybe it's because, you know, Lions going to turn around, have a big playoffs. Wheeler, Scheifele, all those guys are going to step up. Kyle Connor, Hellebuck is going to be a beast once again in net, and they have the Jets making it to their first ever Stanley Cup final. On the flip side, you got Kucherov versus Ovechkin, the two best Russian players in the modern era, and it might be ending up the two best players from Russia in NHL history. You never know. But in terms of the battle of the scores, it seems like NHL wants Washington to come out on top. I don't know if they'll outscore the Lightning, but Holtby might shut them down. The defense might step up, and they might have another Cinderella run to the Stanley Cup Finals. There we go. The Washington Capitals versus the Winnipeg Jets in the Stanley Cup Final. Now this is where we get into a little bit of controversy here, because we have the Jets versus the Caps in the finals. And if you look at the stats, Washington and Winnipeg, both of them won 12 cups in the simulation, which means both of them had a 12% chance of winning the cup in the simulation. So nothing separates them there, which means I had to go scroll back and see their head-to-head matchups when Winnipeg and Washington were in the Stanley Cup Finals, who came out on top. And 3 times out of 4, it was the Winnipeg Jets. So there you have it. That is our bracket, guys. And just for fun, I think we're going to enter, let's say, give or take 4 goals per game. I see this going like at least 6 games. So I think just based on averages, let's go 30 goals in the Stanley Cup Finals. And then the last thing you do in this bracket challenge is pick the number of games that you think each of the first round series, only first round, will go. So we're just reflecting what I had in those charts there. So the Avs in 6 over the Flames, the Sharks in 7 over the Knights, the Preds in 6 over the Stars, and the Jets in 7 over the Blues. In the East, Bolts in 6, Leafs in 5. Still questioning that, but I'll run with it. The Caps in 6, and the Penguins in 6 as well. So that is our bracket based on 100 simulations in NHL 19. We are submitting that. And there we have it, the first entry into the 3rd annual TDI Bracket Challenge is officially in. Now it's your guys' turn. Make sure you guys hit up the link in the description to submit your bracket into my league. Remember, top 3 places get a lovely, lovely prize courtesy of Elevate Hockey, Cool Hockey, and the Hockey Arsenal, our lovely sponsors. Best of luck, guys. Let me know in the comments who you think with your head will win the cup and who you think in your heart you want to win the cup. I'm Mr. To See. Obviously, the bottom of my heart, I'm a Leafs fan. I would love to see them lift the cup, but with my head and not considering the results of this challenge, I think I gotta go with the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're just too damn strong. I don't think anybody in the East will be able to knock them off. Maybe the winner of the West, whoever that is, might be able to dethrone them. But they had an incredible season. It would suck if they didn't get anything less than a appearance in the Stanley Cup Final, and I feel like they have the best chance of winning the cup this year. All right, guys, so thank you once again for tuning into this 100 simulations video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you to everybody who helped out running the simulations, because I didn't do them all myself. Thank God I didn't have to. So shout out to you guys. Very, very much appreciated. Drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe for more. Now that my work's done here, I can sit back, relax, and watch these awesome NHL Stanley Cup playoffs unfold. I hope you guys are excited. Let's go. Go Leafs, go. See ya.